Yeah, I can get notes for the PM like now.
Let me just get them.
Okay, do transfer.
Okay, good evening. Thank you. Welcome to monitoring and evaluation. Are we here all for monitoring and evaluation, or we are here for research? Sorry? We are all here for monitoring and evaluation, right? You are welcome. My full name is Brighton Homer. I'm going to be a facilitator in this course, which is monitoring and evaluation. I'm going to give my own background. Then for knowing all of you who are here, I'll ask also to show that you can introduce yourself. So my name is Brighton Homer. I hold a bachelor's degree in demography and I have a postgraduate diploma in monitoring and evaluation, and I'm currently doing my master in public health, and I'm currently working for M-Pharma Zambia Limited as a data operation and planning associate. So I'm going to facilitate this course, which is monitoring and evaluation, and I believe that at the end of this course we are all going to benefit. And for me, the way I facilitate things, I love taking it from the technical point of view rather than just showing you slides. We are going to be having slides, but I know that there are people in this class that have got vast experience, so we are going to utilize the same experience that you have and facilitate this course so that we pick it from the technical point of view rather than just stories, you're saying a project, whatever and whatever. We are going to be coming up with problems. If we say, let's come up with a log flame, we are going to be coming up with a log flame. I've got examples in my slides, but I don't want to be using the examples that I have. I want all of us to be coming up with one in class so that we build our own, not something that has been built already. That's how I like facilitating things. It becomes more and more interesting, and as we do it, it becomes more and more linked to all of us. So at this point, I would like to start from this side, my sister, and tell us who you are, where you are coming from, what you do, and ask your expectation in this course. Your expectations in this course. Is that too much? Okay, can you tell us what you can tell us? There's no problem. There's no problem. You can tell us what you can manage.
Okay, my name is Christian.
You don't have to start, madam. You are a queen in this class.
Okay, my name is Christian.
Thank you. You're welcome. My sister.
My name is Ihan Chindila.
Who?
Ihan Chindila.
Chindila, Madam Chindila. Sorry?
Chindila.
Chindila? Well, you're not telling us what you do and where you're coming from. You don't want to share such information. Okay. We'll move on. Madam.
My name is Madam Sunda.
Okay. Oh, we're just sending me. I'm also interested in where we are coming from. I know the reason why I've added that part. I want to know where we are coming from so that even as we begin discussing, we'll be like, okay, let's pick it from the health point of view. Let's pick it from the business point of view so that I know that someone from the business point of view help us with this. Then from there we start dissecting it together as class. Madam. Madam Carol? Okay. Everyone is saying right? Yes,
My name is Mzinga Mungombe.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here because I applied for a position of M&E officer, rural assistant. Yeah.
Wow.
Just in case I go for interviews, at least I should have an interview.
M&E, wonderful. Why in the right place, madam? Madam?
My name is Mandile Zefro.
Okay.
Madam Mebukusa. And I'm also a member of the organization of Muslim Sisters United.
Okay.
Managing and
Wonderful. You're welcome. Madam?
my name is Khadija Ndimi.
Okay.
I'm a teacher of Islamic knowledge at Mageni.
Wonderful. You're welcome. Sir?
My name is Joseph Mondi.
You're welcome, sir.
My name is Bika Nasulo. I hold an Bachelor degree in Human Construction. And I'm looking forward to learning more about
To M&E. You're welcome. Sir?
My name is Gabriel Alumbalita. I work as a maintenance planner in the mine.
Wonderful, wonderful. You're welcome. So you see, we are having people coming from different professional backgrounds, and that's what we want in this course, so that we merge everything together and come up with what we want to learn in monitoring and evaluation. Sir?
Piano Pembo, I'm coming from Kachere's research solution and logistics.
Wonderful. You're welcome. Sir?
Franklin Blanda, our names, coming from the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry. I'm an accountant by profession.
You're welcome, sir. That's right. And you're seated very, very far.
My name is Tekal Kiri. I'm from Bharat Family Society. I'm in Various Department.
You're welcome.
My work is from
You're welcome. Madam, we start from here.
My name is Adesiana Sakalo. I'm a community liaison officer under the University of Maryland.
University of Maryland. You're welcome.
My name is Sarah Banda, and I'm a social worker. I formed an organization with my colleagues came here called Muslim Sisters United International. Yes.
You're welcome.
My name is Aida Bangeli. I'm also a social worker. Also a leader in the Muslim Sisters United International.
And you're the co-founder, right? You want to say the co-founder? You're welcome, sister.
My name is Lazy Kontati. I'm also coming from Muslim Sisters United International and so much into construction.
Into construction. Wow, wow. You're welcome, sister.
My name is Lubunga Munga and I'm the Secretary Council.
You're welcome. Sir.
Jonathan Machinabanda is my name. And moving the
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. You're welcome, sir. Sister.
I'm Latifa Kamara and I'm
Okay. I didn't say what you said, I just ate your name.
Latifa Kamara.
Okay. Let go Stephen. Wow, that's wonderful. You're welcome. Sister.
I'm Charlie Banda. I'm running a university ranking. I'm looking forward to learning more about radio because I've always been seeing it, so I find it.
You're welcome, sir.
My name is Kanyana Gote. I'm an electrician by profession, and I work as an Africa Academy.
Wonderful. You attended this SPCS class, huh? You're welcome. Okay. So thank you so much. So the reason why I wanted to know where all of us are coming from, what we do, is also very important, so that we can even use whatever that we are doing to build the course that we are doing. As we know, HEMAND-E, it has got two things in it. There's a monitoring part and there is also the evaluation part. In the monitoring part, that's where you keep on tracking whatever you are doing on a daily basis. In the evaluation part, that's when I want to assess what you've been doing. You want to ask yourself, have we reached the target population? Have we delivered what we had planned to do? So that's all about HEMAND-E. So in this course, as you can see, I've got 5 things here. There is evaluation. So here we'll do a little bit of data analysis in the evaluation also, because evaluation also entails writing reports, right? So if you also don't know how to write reports, how to do data analysis, then it means you cannot write an evaluation report. But I think for evaluation, it's much better because you can easily do the analysis without using any statistical software. That's a bit about evaluation because it's more to do with subjectiveness. Then I've got here, the first line will be planning, we'll start with the history of HEMAND-E, though I'll not dwell much in the history of HEMAND-E. Then from there, we are going to move on to planning, which is a fundamental component of this course. Monitoring and evaluation without proper planning. It can't be monitoring and evaluation. You can't track anything because you don't have a plan to start with. What are you going to be tracking? You need to have a plan for you to track whatever that you're doing. You can't evaluate a program if you do not have a plan. Are we together? So it begins just from the same simple planning. So it's a very fundamental component of this course. Then from there, to move on to frameworks. Frameworks are very fundamental in monitoring and evaluation, and it is at this point where I will not be showing much of the slides, but we'll be coming up with a problem from this class. Then from there, we'll be coming up with our own conceptual frameworks, theory of change, logic models, strategic frameworks. Then after we do that, that's when now I can show you examples from my slides. Are we together? Then from there, the last slide will be evaluation, where we will try to do a bit of analysis. If there are people here who are working on projects and they have got questionnaires that they have been using, I would advise them to come with the same questionnaire so that we use the same questionnaires as an example. Are we together? I don't want to come up with a questionnaire and be like, it's given as a very simple questionnaire. I want to use your questionnaire so that we do it together. Are we together? Okay. Okay. So do everything. Let me just include. Okay. So to everything which exists under earth, we know that there is history behind that. Monitoring and evaluation also follows the same route. There is history about HEMAND-E, but just like I said, I don't want to dwell much to finish the whole slide just talking about history of HEMAND-E. I'll share this slide with you, but I'll just take about 2 to 3 minutes just to talk about the evolution of monitoring and evaluation and one monitoring and evaluation study. Who can remember the Second World War? We have historians, all that used to get 98 in history. Do I have anyone who remember or who knows much about World War II, starting from World War I in 1918? No one. The Mr. Left. Anyone? Is that anyone? Is that anyone? 1918. First World War, right? The 1945 Second World War, right? So we are going to start from the 1918. We know that 1918, that's when the First World War ended. We are being told that that's when Germany lost, right? Then after Germany lost that war, by that time it wasn't Germany, it was being called the Roman Republic. So after that, there was a chancellor who was being called Bismarck. Then after that, there came a man. Who can remember that man, the one who tormented the Jews in Germany? Exactly. So he rose through the acts of military. Then he came in as well. At that point, Germany had already accepted to say, for whatever that happened, for whatever damages that were caused during the First World War, Germany was made to pay for everything. But Hitler came in and he was like, no, why? Why should we pay for these things? So Hitler started coming up with other programs, and his ambition was to conquer the entire world. So through that period from 1918 to summer 1940, we saw that other countries who were advancing in terms of technology, they started coming up with military plans on how they can attack Hitler, because Hitler wanted to attack and rule the entire world. So in 1914, we are being told that there was chaos, especially in Europe, because by that time in 1414, Hitler had already started waging wars. Hitler fought France, France lost. Then they also wanted to fight Britain. Italy was an ally to Hitler. Then we are being told that Russia also was almost losing the war to Hitler. That's when now America came in. Now, the gist behind this is that before they all started, these people had already started financing the military wars, but the question was, they wanted to get value for the money that they were spending for those military wars. So that's how the issue of monitoring and evaluation started coming up. People wanted to have a justification to the money that we are putting in the military source. Is it worth us putting in $2 billion or something where we are making a loss? Is it worth it? Who is being accountable for this money? It's possible that we are financing this, but at the end of this, there is someone who is channeling that money elsewhere, and that money is not working for the purpose. So, monitoring and evaluation started evolving. People started coming up with such questions. How can we track the money that we are putting in? Then how can we know that what we've put in is worth the results that we've gotten now? Small like the cost and the benefit analysis model, right? Where right away you've got the cost here, then you've got the benefits here. So if you want to make a decision, if your benefits outweighs the cost, then you're going to make a purchase decision as a consumer, right? Then if your cost is higher, your benefits, then you drop a back up and see what will happen tomorrow in the market, right? The same also applies to monitoring and evaluation. You want to see the value for the money. The donors that are giving you money, especially those that are coming from organizations, from ministries, they are partner organizations that come. They want to see value for their money. But how are they going to be sure that the money that I've given you worked? Is through now monitoring and evaluation. Because here we are going now to have records. You'll be recording somewhere. Whatever that you are doing, you're going to have a record. Then at the end of it, if it's United Nations, for instance, external evaluators will come in. They want to come and evaluate that project. Then after that, they'll give you feedback. Okay, the number we pushed in this way. What is happening in society? So the same also happened somewhere back before 1945. People wanted to have value for the money. Who is using this money? Is the money being used for the right activities as planned? Are we together? So the person who contributed to the development of monitoring and evaluation is F. Kennedy. Who knows F. Kennedy from America? I think he used to be a president at some point. So it's a guy who said, no, we've pushed billions, especially from America, because we know that America has been financing a lot of these military operations. So we used to push in billions of dollars. So they were skeptical. Is the money working or not? So that guy developed interest. I need to know where the money is going. How are we going to do this? Hammond Lee. So it was from that point that Hammond Lee has developed into a field which is now gaining prominence, more especially here in Africa, because as we know that everything in Africa, we are always behind, right? At least in America, Hammond Lee started, just formal monitoring and evaluation started sometime back in 1980. That's when we saw that people started developing literature, started writing things about monitoring and evaluation. But here in Zambia, as far as I could remember, monitoring and evaluation should have started somewhere back in 2006. But back then it was not common because people did not see the value for monitoring and evaluation. It's now that monitoring and evaluation is now almost everywhere. Almost in every organization, almost in every ministry, because we want to know, with the money that we are pushing in, are we able to get what we've intended or what we are planning to get? Then there is this aspect which is evaluation. The purpose of evaluation is to give feedback if the project is on track. If it's not on track, then we can make amendments. Evaluation is able to tell, oh actually, the error was here, so we have to make that error before the project is done. Are we together? So that's why, as an organization, you plan when you're going to do monitoring and evaluation. Is it going to be a mid-term evaluation? Is it going to be summative evaluation? You are going to agree as an institution, right? Right from the onset when you're doing the plan which we are going to start, from the onset there, we are going to agree as an organization, okay, and everything will be stipulated in the plan. So that as you are doing things, you should be following what you have put in your plan. It's not just a matter of doing this pante game. Today we touch this, tomorrow we touch this, that other day we touch this. We have to be moving according to the plan. And hence, planning is very important for monitoring and evaluation. So that's just a brief background about monitoring and evaluation. I'll share this slide with you. Before we can dive into the technical things, there are always, in almost every discipline, there are terminologies or there are concepts that are supposed to be built. And in monitoring and evaluation, the concepts that we are going to discuss tonight are very fundamental. And if you forget in class, please, I'll urge you to be revising these things. Because time will come on, so let's set up a goal. If you don't understand what a goal is, it will be very difficult, right? If we say an activity, if you don't know what an activity is, then it will become a challenge. If you say, let's come up with a mission, so we must understand these concepts. So we are going to start with the concepts that underpins monitoring and evaluation. Are we together? And at any point where you are not clear, you are at liberty to ask me a question so that we can be moving on the same page. Are we together? So planning is very simple, just like you can see from the definition. Do I even need to explain this? It's very simple, right? Huh? Madam, do I need to explain? I need to explain, right? So planning, just from the word itself, planning, it means we have to set up something, right? So when we relate it to organization, where simply you come up with goals. You develop goals. Where do you want to be in the next 5 years, right? Then from there, if you've set where you want to be in the next 5 years, you ask yourself, how are we going to get there? Are we together? We know where we want to go. Where we want to go, we want to see a country with 2% HIV prevalence. That's where we want to be in 2030, right? But now we also have now to ask ourselves, how are we going to attain such HIV prevalence at 2%? So that's what planning entails. You need to sit down, determine, establish where you want to be in the next 20 years. Then after you know where you want to be in the next 20 years, then ask yourself, what do I have to do for me to get there? What should I do for me to get there? That's what planning entails. But in this course, which is M&D, you'll see when we start reaching to frameworks, which is now part of planning, before you can start doing the actual activities as a project or as a program or as a policy. Because even in policy, you need to plan, right? Once you plan, then you start doing implementation, then you need to be tracking what you are doing in that way. So that's what planning entails. And that actually added this person which is briefing, so it means that this definition also extracted exactly the way it was from this book, which is briefing, which says planning means setting an organization goals and deciding how best to achieve them. You know where you want to be. Then from there you ask yourself, what do we have to do for us to get there? Then on top of that, there is this way which is about how best to achieve them. We can have many ways, right? But out of those ways and means, we can now pinpoint those ways that we think this actually going to lead us to what we want to achieve in 2030. So it's not every means and ways which can work. We need now, as we sit down as an organization, we are going to decide, I think these activities are relevant for what we intend to do. I mean, these activities are relevant for what we intend to achieve in 2030. So, better we exclude this and pick this. That's what planning entails. You decide what is best for you. You decide what will help you, what will enable you achieve your goals. Are we together? Any question on planning? Just a definition of planning. I haven't even started doing planning, right? Just a definition for planning. So planning involves answering these questions. What will be done? How will it be done? When will it be done? It's talking about time this one, right? So it means as we set up goals, we need also to set up targets and come up with indicators, because indicators are going to help us track what we are doing. Who will do it? Human resource, right? You need to have people. Where will it be done? Where is that project being implemented? Is it in Lusaka, in Leso Zambia? Is it in Kalimalinga? It's you. We are going to be deciding. As an organization, we are going to decide as a ministry, right? Why will it be done? Who can answer this question? Why should we do it? Why should we implement that particular project? Sorry? I can't hear you. To meet the goal so that we achieve the goal that we have, right? If let's say the goal is to reduce HIV prevalence to 2%. We know that if HIV prevalence has been reduced to 2%, then we know that our population is safe now, right? Exactly. So, all these questions are supposed to be answered at the point of planning. What will be done? What will be done? I'm talking about the activities. What are you going to be doing exactly? How will it be done? How are we going to be doing those activities? If we say we're going to be doing sensitization, how are we going to be doing sensitization in Chimoya? When will it be done? When exactly can we do sensitization campaign in Chimoya? Who will do it? Human resource, you need to have people skilled in that particular area, right? Because you can't just pick Head person, someone who has never done this thing and then, yes. The flash? Okay, can use this. Sorry? There's a video and actually, okay. I put also on my screen, so I'll use one that. So we need to have people positioned in right places. Are we together? Where will it be done? This is a very, very simple question. Why will it be done? You are justifying why it's worthy implementing that particular project. Then, before all these things, the first thing that starts is what we call, in M1 we call it a need assessment. A need assessment is more like a research. You want to know more about a problem. Are we together? So that's how research is done, where you want to find solutions to practical problems. Are we together? So you go and do research so that you have a deep understanding of that particular problem. Once you know the factors that are leading to that problem, then what we do? Then we are going to design a program that is going to cut off those factors that are leading to that particular problem. Are we together? So now, as we design that program, could be a program, could be a project, it could be a policy, right? We are going to start implementing that program. Along the way, that's now the issues of monitoring and evaluation comes in. We want to be tracking what we are doing on a daily basis. It's not just a matter of doing a tool sensitization has been done. We need to have a record of what has been done. And at the end of it, we need to come and evaluate, we need to come and assess how sensitization was conducted. Was it in conformity to our plan? Are we together? So everything is coming back to planning because we need to document everything. We need to decide everything from the onset as a project, as a program. Otherwise, without you having a proper plan, a plan is more like a map, something which is guiding what you are going to be doing. Are we together? So then there's the purpose of planning. So I think this you can read on your own. It's very simple here. And there's a plan there. So a plan is simply a document where you are going to put what you intend to do as a program, as a project, as a policy, as a ministry, as an organization. You are going to document things. So as we talk about planning, it's not just a matter of sitting in class, we verbally talk and it ends there. We need to document what we've agreed as a group, as a project, as a company, as an organization. Everything, whatever that we are doing, are supposed to be documented. So it's the written account of intended future course of action aimed at achieving specific goal objectives within the specific time frame. This is very important. Time frame. We need to decide when are we going to finish with this project. If you are working in this company, then you've noticed that employees are stressed. You can come up with a program, right? Or as a project within, you can come, I don't know whatever that you can come up with, but whatever you're going to decide as senior management, there must be a time frame. At this point, after 2 years, this is going to come to an end. Are we together? So, time frame is very, very important. So these are just concepts. We haven't started going into then program. Who can give us a best definition of the program than this one which is here? Is there anyone who can give it a try? Is there anyone who knows something about a project? Is there anyone who can tell us something about a project? Me, I love communicating with you, not that I'll be bothering you. I want us to be active. To be active, right? Because if I'm just going to be talking alone, I want us to be active. That's why I asked the question, where we are coming from, and I've used the word program several times just in this class, that we've discovered that these are the factors that are leading to cholera outbreak. Yes, sister?
You wanted to know an example of the project?
A project or program?
There's one project that work continued over the use of bathrooms and toilets in the rural areas. So that project was funded by the USF, the people of America, that's how they do the buildings. So it is to ensure that all those people in the rural areas that don't use toilets, learn to use the toilets. Yes.
Exactly. Thank you so much. So from her definition or from her example, she's talked about the resources, right? Which are these resources? We've organized the resources, but those resources that we've organized are for a purpose, and that purpose is a goal that we have set, right? But so like you said, this funded by World Bank, is it World Bank? United Nations, right? So the goal is to people from it. You said which? You said which organization? United Nations?
American people.
American people, right? So the goal for that project was to ensure that people have got access to pit latrines, right? Exactly. So the same can also be said to be a program where you've got a composition of resources, but those resources are there for you, are there for a specific purpose, and this purpose is a goal. Are we together? Then a project is on a smaller side. So a project can be a subset of a program. A program can have so many projects. That's the only difference between a project and a program. A program can have within about 10 projects, which could be addressing people like this side, this one is addressing HIV, this one is addressing governance issues, this project is talking about, you can have a lot of projects under the program. So a program is on a higher side as compared to a project. A project is a subset of a program. Are we together? So it means the same definition can still stand for a project, because even in a project we need to have resources for a specific purpose, and that purpose is for us to achieve a goal. Are we together? Any question? Should I move on? And that's the definition for the project. Activities and results with a unified purpose together with the resources and time frame to achieve the goals. Everything is going to a goal. Are we together? So the reason why we've initiated that particular project, the reason why we are implementing that particular program is for us to achieve the goals. So we'll do it. So we're just speaking about a goal. Time will come now. We are going to determine where we want to be as this class. And from there, we are going to decide, is this a program or a project? If we say it's a program, it means we are going to divide in groups. So we say, group 1, dealing with project A, right? Group 2, project B. And from there, we move on. So now we are going now to define what a goal is. Who can give it a try? Who can define what a goal is? Who can give it a try? Sister.
It is a factory outcome.
It's a factory outcome.
Over what one intends to do.
Exactly. An outcome of what we try to do. An overall outcome, right? Exactly. Who else? Sister is on point. Who else? I shouldn't have said it's correct, right? Because everyone will be like, no, the answer from sister is enough, right? Sam? Oh, yes, sir.
I think it's the results we get from the project.
So it's the result that you get. Wonderful. So if you can make the two definitions, they are all talking about one and the same thing. For you to have results, then you must have done something before, right? So So the results will come later. For you to have an outcome, you must have done something before. Are we together? Then that will come is now overlook of what we intended to achieve on a general level as a project, as an institution, as a ministry, as a program. Are we together? So a goal is a general statement of aim or purposes. Specifically specify what the organization aims to achieve in the medium and long term. So it's possible that you can also have long-term goals. Maybe it could be after 10 years you want to achieve those things after 10 years, because there are certain things you can conduct as many activity as possible, but the end outcome may not come right there and then. It will be after a long period of time. So it depends on the problem that you're trying to address. How to get. For instance, if I give an example of male circumcision, do we know the reason why the government has been talking much about male circumcision? Yes, what's the reason? To reduce cervical cancer, then also HIV prevalence, right? Mostly it's HIV, right? Cervical cancer just coming recently. So now, if let's say we circumcise about 200 men in Lusaka, let me just use Kalingalinga specific, right? We may not see the results right there and then. We might not see HIV prevalence reducing. We might see HIV prevalence reducing maybe after the period of 5 years. So which can be regarded as a long-term goal. Maybe after the period of 10 years when the census is conducted, that's when our central statistics are going to tell us that the HIV prevalence has reduced from 14.2 to 4.2. So it means as an organization, you can have medium, you can have short-term goals, you can also have long-term goals. But the major thing to take note of under a goal is that it's a general statement of what we intend to achieve. Are we together? Exactly. That's much about a goal. Unless there are questions. Then strategies. Want to say something, my sister? Want to say something about strategies? You can go ahead, please. You can go ahead. You can go ahead. So, for us, in achieving the goals, in achieving the goal, we must come up with strategies. Are we together? Just like I said that, there are always ways and means of achieving something, right? But you having ways and means, you might have something that is not well connected to what you are trying to achieve. You discard it off. Then you pick those that you think are going to lead you where you want to be. So the same applies to strategies. You come up with specific actions that are going to take you where you want to be. You come up with well-grounded, data-driven strategies that are going to make you realize your goal, to achieve your goal. That's all about the strategies. Strategies are broad categories or types of action to achieve the goals. So you can have as many actions as possible, but at the end of the day, you need to pick the key action. And those key actions are what we are calling the strategies. Are we together? There are times when we are doing something, when we see that it's not working, we usually use this word, let's come up with a new strategy. Right? Instead of doing what we've been doing all along, it hasn't been working. So we decided, I think this isn't working. So let's come up with new strategies. That's why it's always important to do planning, because from planning here, you can list as many actions as possible. Then from there, you start now dissecting them one by one. Is this action going to help us? What are the weaknesses if we do this and this, and what are the opportunities in this action? Are we together? So depending on the weaknesses and the opportunities, if the opportunities are better as compared to the weaknesses, then we are going to adopt that as your action, and hence it becomes your strategy. Are we together? Should I move on? Are people taking notes? Or is done already, right? Then a mission, something very important. each organization has got a mission, right? And the mission is more like something which is related to God. It's related to a God, but the way the mission is framed, if you go here as an example, Zambia Postal Services, to provide affordable and high quality coastal and financial services to the satisfaction of our customers and stakeholders. It's just that there is no one from the Ministry of National Planning. So there's something missing in this mission here. There are 4 criteria that you can use for you to develop a mission. Just that there's no one from national planning here who would have helped us. So a mission is supposed to show the organization within. So Zambia Postal Services is supposed to be here. We as Zambia Postal Services, we intend to provide affordable. So we must know the name of that organization. Then we must also know what they intend to do. Then we must know how they are going to do that. Are we together? And we also must know what are their target population. So now we are just telling us that at least they have talked about the customers here, so it means these are their target population, right? Then they have also told us what they intend to do is to provide affordable and high quality postal services and financial services. But there's something missing here. They haven't told us the methodology. How are they going to provide the affordable and high quality? So it means this mission is incomplete. Are we together? So a mission just simply what makes an organization exist. For what purpose exactly? So like Zambia Postal Services, they are telling us the reason why they exist as Zambia Postal Services is for them to provide affordable and high quality postal and financial services to ensure that all customers and the stakeholders involved are well pleased. Are we together? But this mission statement is incomplete. You need to show the organization in which you are to be involved in the development of the mission. Ensure that the name of that organization is supposed to be in the mission. We as a Zambia Postal Services, then from there you have to tell us as a people of Zambia what you intend to do. Just like Postal Services have done provision of affordable and high quality and financial services. Then after that, you need to tell us the methodologies that you're going to use. How are you going to provide affordable and high quality postal services? Then from there, you need to tell us who your target population are. Like I've told us, it's their customers and stakeholders. Are we together? So it is a basic purpose of an organization. In other words, an organization mission specifies its reason of existence, just like you can see here, right? It's telling us the reason why Zambia Postal Service exists. They just exist for provision of affordable and quality and high quality postal and financial services. That's a major reason why Zambia Postal Service exists. Do all agree? We all know Zambia Postal Services. Is this true? It's true, right? Wonderful. Yes, sir.
What is the difference between the mission and the slogan?
The mission and the slogan. So I was asking, what's the difference between the mission and the slogan? We use they say, we have changed the slogan. What are they saying? My tax, your tax? Something like that. I heard something in Belgium. So I don't know much about the slogan, but as far as I know, the major difference between the slogan and the mission is that the mission, for it to be called a proper mission, has 4 points that are supposed to be addressed. Are we together? Number 1, we need to know the name of that institution. Number 2, we need to know what that institution intends to do. Number 3, we need to know how are they going to provide what they intend to do. Number 4, we need to know what are their target population. Who do they intend to provide the services to? But the slogan, even me, I can come up with a slogan. Call me boss, call me boss. I don't know how to define the slogan. Anyone who can help us define the slogan. But a mission is detailed and it is supposed to meet those 4-point criteria. without those 4-point criteria, when your mission is going to be complete. But the slogan can even be a one word, can be 2 words, but it cannot be detailed as this one. If your slogan is detailed like this one, then definitely it's not a slogan, it's something else. And mostly people they use a slogan just for identification purposes, right? So every person is about a mission. So I don't want to dive into mission development, but at least I've given you how you can go about developing a mission. If you are involved, if you are like sister here, who was the co-founder of that organization, I'm sure at some point you developed the mission, right? Did it meet the 4-point criteria I'm talking about, or something? You missed out something. You did. So when it comes to planning, there are approaches to planning. So there's a top-down approach and there's a bottom-up approach and there's a mixed approach, right? So when we talk about the top-down approach, that's why I said that decisions are being determined from the top management. Top management to see if they are going to agree, then they'll just pass it on to the subordinates for implementation. How to get? Then bottom up is now starts from the subordinates. They come up with ideas, it keeps rising from there, it goes to the next stage, until it reaches the top management for final decision. Everything, the top-down approach has got advantages and disadvantages. This one has got disadvantages also as well as advantages. Just tell me the top-down approach. What could be the advantages here for the top-down? Something that is starting from top management and they're just passing it on to subordinates to implement. What could be the advantages of such an approach?
May not be
So something that is starting from the management may not be questionable because you know that it's coming from top management, right? Exactly. Yes, sir.
I think it puts the organization in order.
It puts the organization in order, right? Because just like she's saying here, whatever that will come from management will not be questionable because we know that that's the final move. If management has said we need to start implementing, so management will decide what is best for the institution and pass it on for implementation. Yes, madam, I wanted to say something. I say your aunt. Almost the same thing. Yes.
Yeah, top down also the resources are readily available because the big boss was saving and may not make offers to the management.
Exactly. Because the boss has said it. There's a reason why the boss has said it, right? So it means the resources are readily available. And mostly also, something that is urgent. You don't need to involve, you don't have to, to involve people from the lower side and it starts rising up. It will take a lot of time. But from here, you are the boss. You just call other directors, you sit in that boardroom from 06 to 18 hours, you decide this is what we are going to do. Then tomorrow we are going to communicate to line managers. This is what we intend to do. So in time of urgency, top-down approach is also good. Push an organization in order, resources are well available. Then what will be the disadvantages of using the same approach? Yes, sir?
The motivation to the subordinates is not balanced because it's like you are not valued if you are subordinate.
Exactly.
You want to be heard also.
Wonderful. So we human beings by nature, we want to be heard. If me, I report to someone, then I go into that meeting, I've got an idea, I want to put an idea on the table and someone, even before I speak, I'm being rejected. Then please, whatever that you're going to come up with, I'll just be part because I don't want to be fired, but inside me, if it fails, I'll be joyous, right? If it fails. So there's no motivation whatsoever from the subordinates. They're just doing it for the sake of doing it. Because at the end of it, there's a salary and they're scared of being fired. Yes, sir?
There's no
fair play in the way.
There is no
Fair play.
There is no fair play. So it could be management can also decide to come up with something that can also disadvantage the same employees, right? Exactly. Okay. So there is so much that we can talk about the top-down approach. I'll give an example of the sustainable development goals. Those are just imposed, right? Exactly. So it means there's a top-down approach which was used. It came from the United Nations. It was just imposed on Zambia. Zambia, these are how many? 17 sustainable development goals. You need to see zero poverty. I don't know if that is possible in Zambia with these minimum prices. But anyway, we'll see. We are still moving, right? Then move on to bottom-up approach. So it means everyone is being involved in the process of decision making. No one is being left out. If you've got an idea, you put that idea forth on the table. Then from there, you are going to discuss. So what could be the advantages here? So there's a motivation, right? Everyone is being involved in, so there's a motivation aspect. And this one is also good if you are dealing with, let's say, you are dealing with the complicated and sometimes sensitive matters where you need to have the knowledge of the technical class, because there are people on the ground, right? They're going to give you thorough or enough information about what the landscape of the problem is. Are we together? Now, what could be the disadvantages of using this? The first disadvantage is that if the problem is urgent, you can't go for this one. Are we together? Then the other disadvantage could be that if you get other people also, for me, I can have my own interest, someone has got their own things, even something that is not tapping into the organizational goal, because I know that at the end of it, if it's done, I'm going to benefit something. It's very easy for me to propose it and defend it properly. We even hear in Parliament some people, even when they know that something can't work out properly, in Zambia, they'll be there defending it in Parliament. So interest, I can have my own interest, someone else, are we together? But all in all, this one is just a matter of saying bottom-up approach. At the end of it, top management is going to decide whether they pick up that. So everything still goes to top management approach. So you can also decide to mix both, which is now going to be mixed approach. You engage them, then at the end of it, management makes a final decision, a final conclusion. Or it can be more like workshops, whatever they like, you discuss and discuss, and at the end of it, you are going to pick up something. Are we together? So these are approaches to planning. So as a project, as an organization, as a policy, you decide which one best for that thing that you're trying to do. If you're trying to come up with a policy, you decide which one is going to be most applicable for what you intend to do. Are we together? As a project manager, when you are hired, because mostly in projects, the funders, they first start by hiring the project manager, right? And the project manager will start hiring the project officers, procurement, whatever, finance director, whatever, and so on and so forth, right? So the project manager will decide, I'll be imposing ideas, if I've got all the ideas, or I'll be engaging with the people that are working with this. Up to that person to decide, but it depends with the agents and the sensitivity of the problem, right? There are sensitive issues where you don't want even the junior people to know what you want to go and pick it from there. Go and do this, go and do, because the problem is sensitive. So it's up to you to decide which one best works for what you are currently doing altogether. So what to not under approaches? In practice, most programs and projects involve both top-down and bottom approaches. The decision to use one of the two depends on the circumstances, which we've talked about, right? Depend on the landscape of the problem you're trying to address, so the problem or project in question, and the time and resources. I talked about the time, which is urgent, right? If something is urgent, then it means you can't go for a bottom-up takes a lot of time bottom up. Something that can even take up to 6 months. If an institution is big, you can imagine, let me give an example. Which institution can I pick in Zambia which is big? ZESCO, right? ZESCO is such a very, very big institution. So it means you need to involve even those who are in rural areas. And also, depending on the resources available. You know that bottom approach will be very, very costly, right? You need to put in a colossal amount of money for you to involve everyone. Like ZESCO should have more than, I don't know, in fact more than 2,000 employees, right? So now you can imagine involving all the 2,000 employees. It's a lot of money. It is. So, the conditions prevailing at that particular moment, the time that you have, and also the amount of capital that you have will dictate the type of approach that you are going to utilize. If you've got a lot of money, you are going to decide about gigantic sum of money, so we are going to engage everyone. Any questions? So these are just concepts. We know what a goal is, where we want to be. We know that strategies are those specific and key actions altogether. Then we know that a plan is something that we document, a well-written document. Any questions on the aspect of planning? This is just an introduction. We haven't even started planning. Are we moving on the same page, or am I too fast? Okay, so this is done. So now we can also this.
So are we getting the internet?
Yes, I'll be, especially like for this part, which is more, because this one is more like theoretical. But now is the practical part of it when we start developing things on our own. So it means if you're not contributing, you don't get the slides, right? You make a deal, right? Is that deal okay? So it's a good deal, right? So I'm saying, when we begin with the art of planning with a framework, so I'm suggesting that if you remain quiet in class, you don't get slides, right? Is that a fair deal? It's not a fair deal. No, all of us are going to be getting slides. But what's important is for us to be sharing ideas in class. And that's why I asked that question. Tell us where you're coming from. There are people that are coming from private institutions. There are people that are running their own businesses. There are people that are coming from the government ministries. So we are going to encompass all those vast experience that people have gained. You know, there are people that have got experience more than I have here. All of you got experience more than I have. But we are going out and try the same experience that you have and build this force. Are we together? So we are going to be sharing ideas. So me, I don't like my class to be very quiet. People are just listening. I want at one point we are all participating. So that even when I share with you the slides, when you go and open at least a conceptual framework, you know that the reason why this arrow is going in this and this is because of this and this. That's what I prefer. Okay. What's the time? Are you tired? Should we move on? Hello? We move on, right? Exactly. Okay, so on Friday, we are not going to have class. Fridays. All the Fridays, this week and next week, I'm having exams. On Friday, I'm writing an exam, so I will not be available. The other Friday also, I'm writing an exam, so I will not be available. Yes. Sorry? We are going to meet. I've made a plan already. I've made a plan already. And then there are no classes on weekends. Only when we agree as class that we can move on and have the class on Saturday and have the class on Sunday. But the way the training is arranged, that we don't have classes over the weekend. Because there are others who are SDAs, they are scared that if they come to class on Saturday, they will not go to heaven. There are other people that are scared that no, if we don't go to church on Friday, we will not go to heaven. So we don't want to disadvantage you. Okay, so this is now mentoring and devotion. These are the basic concepts in mentoring and devotion. We are going to talk mentoring, we are going to talk devotion, we are going to have M&D system, M&D plan, M&D framework, indicator, data, baseline, and reporting. We are going to cover this. So you need to know what monitoring entails. You need to know what evaluation entails. As an organization, a well-built institution, when you have a project, you need to have the M&D system. You need to have the M&D plan. It's a plan, the document, right? It can even go up to 30 pages, this one. But it's detailed, you've documented everything. So at any point, when the landscape of the problem changes along the way, maybe you could have planned, for instance, let's assume that you had planned that the bag of milling is going to cost 75 parts, but now things have changed, like it has changed now, right? Which is now, how much? 150, right? So it means, if you continue buying at 150, it's possible that you may not even reach at the end of the project, the money will have already finished. So you need to adjust. So even as you adjust, you need to document what you've adjusted and why you've decided to adjust. Then you need to have a framework, which is also very important. Frameworks, like you said they use what we call strategic framework, which is a result framework. We are going to do it. Then PEPFAR use the log flow matrix. Then it depends. So as an institution, we are going to decide which one works best for you. The indicators are also very vital. It will be this that we are going to tell that at least we've achieved our targets, right? We've met our targets. The indicator just simply show you where you are going. Are you moving in the right direction? For instance, we know the meaning of this word, which is called the baseline. For instance, before I can implement a project which is aimed at reducing HIV prevalence, right? I need to do what is called the need assessment so that I know the landscape of the problem as of now. In the current Zambia Demographic and Health Survey preliminary report, we are being told that HIV prevalence now is it 14.2. What's read that element? It should be 14.2%, something like that. Do you know Zambia Demographic Health Survey? So that document are telling us that HIV prevalence is 14.2%. So if we say 14.2%, who can help us with the simple interpretation of this when we say 14%? Yes, sir.
It means that of all the people that are going for testing, 14% of those people are found positive. When we say the whole population.
Not inside. So in other words, we are saying that the population of Zambia is out of 100, right? Then if HIV prevalence 14%, we are saying that at least 14% of the population of Zambia is HIV positive, for instance, right? That's what it means. Or you can say at least 14 per 100 people are HIV positive. So in other words, out of every 100 people, you are able to find 14 people who are HIV positive. That's what this number is. So for us as a project, this is going to be our baseline. It's something that we're going to start with. So we're going to say, okay, as of 2019, the HIV prevalence was 14.2%. Baseline, now together. This happens in planning. Then from there, we're going to set your targets. What we want. So we say, okay, this project us now want to reduce this HIV prevalence further to 7.3%, for instance, right? Then here I don't have your goal, just to reduce HIV prevalence altogether. Then from there, you are going to develop indicators, and depending on the problem that you're trying to address, you are going to decide, do I want to develop quantitative indicators? Quantitative, also are going to decide percentage, rate, then you can also maybe go for qualitative indicators, which we will discuss in this course, how to develop indicators. So now, when you start doing your implementation, you are going to be collecting data. That's why now evaluation comes in. We need to assess what we've done. So that maybe the project is intended for 5 years. That's why we're talking about the time frame. That at a particular point in time, that project should come to an end. So if I say that this project is going to take us 10 years, for instance, then in our plan we've indicated that every after one we need to be doing evaluation, right? So let's say this is the first year. Now we want to assess what we've done. So once we do that, we are going also to collect information on indicators. Indicators are going to speak to us. Indicators are going to tell us whether we are on the right path or not. Are we together? And that's the whole reason of doing evaluation. It's now to send feedback to the people doing the project implementation. Look, this is what you have done. You said that at least after the first 1 year, we need to eat. We need HIV prevalence supposed to reduce from 14 to 10%, right? Then now, after we've done the evaluation, you've seen that actually HIV prevalence has even increased to 15.4. What do you do as a project? Strategies comes into strategize at this point. Because we've been doing what we are trying to do, but instead of HIV prevalence reducing, that is actually on the higher side. What do? You keep on doing the same thing that you've been doing. So it means the project is going to fail, right? And that's the whole essence of doing evaluation now. Send feedback. Oh, actually, you are on the right track. Whatever you are doing, that's how you see that HIV prevalence has reduced, and you know that we are moving well, right? If you're not doing as well as a project, evaluation should tell us so that we make amendments. Are we together? So for us to know that we need to have also indicators. We need to have a beginning point, right? This is how we found HIV prevalence. So where we stand now is at this point. HIV prevalence is now at 8%, and we are sure. Are we together? Maybe it could be HIV here is increasing because here we are trying that we will be doing this and this and this and this. But as we started the implementation, instead of sticking to our plan, we moved away to our plan. We started doing other things else. Are we together? So all of those lacunas, all of those gaps are supposed to be identified by evaluation so that we can mend those lacunas. Just like we have those lacunas in the Constitution. Here it says the president can only be sworn twice. And another clause is saying that when it takes less than 3 years, it's not a term. So all those are lacunas that are supposed to be amended when we do the evaluation. Are we together? And that's the whole essence of doing evaluation. So for us, we need to have indicator and we need to have baseline. Then as an organization, we need to decide where we are going to be getting data. If you want to compute an indicator, to calculate the indicator, we need to decide. Are we going to be getting information from the record books? There are some indicators that you can't just get the information that you've been collecting. At least you need to get from multiple sources altogether. There are some indicators where now you are actually supposed to do a survey on your own as a project altogether. And that's why everything also, planning, Depending on what you are doing, looking at the resources that you have, you need to come up with real and measurable indicators. Otherwise, you can say, we are going to do this, not knowing that for you to find information for that indicator, you need to do the survey for the entire Zambia. The project is across the borders of Zambia, not knowing that for the indicator which you've developed, you are going to do a survey that you don't have money, especially when it comes to impact indicators, because impact indicators are very, very difficult. We are talking about the change in the general thing. So we need to be sure it could be our program which has led to the reduction in HIV. It could be. There is also UNICEF also somewhere doing similar things that we are doing. So that's why the only sense of doing this at any point in time, we must be sure that the change is because of this. Otherwise, if we are able to do that, the founders will come in and tell us, hey, our money did not work. We are cancelling off the project. Are we together? Then reporting is also important. That's why I said now that if time will be with us, we are going to integrate in a little bit of data analysis and interpretation. Because for you now to report, you must have done the interpretation somewhere, right? You have the numbers in graphs, in tables, and so on and so forth. For some organizations like USAID, actually, they will even give you templates where you can be populating whatever you're doing. So instead of developing your own templates for reporting purposes, they will give you that for you to report on this indicator. So you put in an indicator, they will populate it. Then, if you don't have reporting templates, it means you can create your own, and that's why reporting comes in. You need also in your plan. Are we going to be sending emails as a way of reporting? Are we going to be doing workshops? And the common ones are workshops in Zambia, right? Where you invite, there's USAID, there's Minister of Commerce, there's WEBA, there's University of Zambia. It's a workshop. When we start presenting, right, this is what we've done, this is what we have planned, this is what we've achieved, this. Are we together? But before we can go to monitoring and development, is there anyone who can give it a try to define what monitoring is? I know there are parents here that are monitoring my daughter. What do you mean say monitoring my daughter?
Yes, sure. I think monitoring is the tracking of organizational activities so that we'll be able to monitoring is the tracking of organizational activities to see if at all we are meeting your set objectives.
Because I don't want to say yes or no, because if I say yes, then everyone will be like, oh, okay. Yes, sister. For tracking purposes. Okay. So, you wanted to say something? No. So if you've heard from the definition, they are talking about tracking something, right? Tracking something. So tracking actually, depending, so you decide that monitoring action happens on a daily basis. As we are doing whatever activities we are doing, we are also recording them, right? So I've just given you what is in the definition. So continuous management function, which is actually this is now the definition for the actual monitoring and evaluation. So monitoring and evaluation is a tool that we use to continuously manage the function. It's a tool that is used to manage, to track. Yes. Okay, sure. We end here. We meet tomorrow. I don't know if you can make a specific WhatsApp group, because I know there's other group, other people that are not paid up, doesn't also don't want them to have access to the same notes. And then actually there is a video here if the people are interested in the video, but more especially when we start dealing with the frameworks and the like, right? So So we meet tomorrow at exactly 18:30.